Hello everyone and welcome to my CSAU channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Todd Chrisley breaks silence on son who betrayed him in Resurfaced video. Since their presidential pardon, Todd and Julie Chrisley of Chrisley Knows Best fame have been sharing quite a few stories. In addition, videos of their lives and what they shared have also started to resurface. Recently, fans have drawn their attention to a video where Todd shares where he stands with one family member in particular. Todd Chrisley talked about one member of his family in a recently resurfaced video. Todd Chrisley originally became known to audiences through USA Network's Chrisley Knows Best, which originally ran from 2014 to 2023. In 2022, Todd and his wife, Julie, were convicted over a variety of charges, including bank fraud and tax evasion. However, the two were released back in May thanks to a presidential pardon. Since then, Todd and Julie have shared their side of the story with various outlets, including their own podcast. In his personal life, Todd shares 3 children with Julie: Grayson, Chase, and Savannah. Todd also has 2 children from his previous marriage to Teresa Terry, Lindsay, and Kyle. As mentioned, while Todd and Julie have shared new revelations since their imprisonment, previous videos the family have released, even before the presidential pardon, are also starting to draw attention. Taking to social media, one video that has recently caught fan attention was one involving Todd talking about his son Kyle while working on Chrisley Knows Best. Todd appeared to be answering questions from fans during a live stream with the video. At the time, he addressed that Kyle will not be back on the show. He will not be back on the show at all with Chrisley Knows Best. Todd assured, "I love Kyle dearly. I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope that he's getting his life straightened out. But at some point, you just have to say whether or not you're good for each other. And I think with the things that Kyle has done and the things that he's, fabricated about his family just to sell a story to a tabloid, that's probably more than what any of us can kind of get past right at the moment." However, at the time, Todd mused on the concept of forgiveness, saying, "But you know what? With God's will, time has a way of tempering all things, and that is certainly my prayer, that at some point Kyle will come to peace with his family." Kyle previously talked about his relationship with his father at the time of his parents' presidential pardon. "And we can all move forward. We don't approve of the company Kyle keeps, and so as long as that's involved, we can't invite that back into our lives." Todd then mused, as a reality television personality, people have a right to ask questions about his life and his family. However, he also noted that fans don't necessarily have the right to have these questions answered. During the original run of Chrisley Knows Best, Kyle mostly appeared in the first season, though he made an appearance in the 8th season. As fans know, Kyle previously expressed, "I'm going to remain hopeful that another reconciliation is possible," concerning him and his father during the time of his parents' presidential pardon, in a statement with E! News. Last year, Kyle previously shared with In Touch that he hadn't spoken with his father in over a year. He shared, "I don't really know why, but he hasn't responded to my emails and he doesn't call. I was actually going to attend the hearing, but I was told my dad did not want me there. I believe someone even said they would have me escorted out if I showed up." Todd Chrisley has never been one to hold back, whether on Chrisley Knows Best or in the face of personal turmoil. But now, as he serves time behind bars, the fallen patriarch has finally broken his silence on one of the deepest wounds he's suffered since his family's public implosion: betrayal at the hands of his own son, a wound reopened by a newly resurfaced video that's shaking the Chrisley family to its core. In an emotional prison interview released through a trusted family source, Todd opened up in raw, unfiltered words about what it's been like watching a video go viral. A clip featuring one of his sons speaking candidly about his father's double life and controlling nature even hinting that he believed Todd deserved his prison sentence. The clip, originally recorded during a podcast appearance nearly 2 years ago, had been largely overlooked until now. Now, with millions viewing the video, the betrayal hits harder than ever. I knew he was angry, but this? From inside the walls of his federal prison, Todd began his message with a trademark mix of Southern charm and steel. Todd said, "That video, it cut deep. Not because he said those things. Lord knows folks have said worse about me, but because it came from my own blood. My son, the same boy I held when he was born, who I prayed over every night." Though Todd did not name which son betrayed him, sources close to the family suggest the target of Todd's hurt is Kyle Chrisley, his eldest son from a previous marriage. Kyle's history with Todd has been rocky, marred by addiction, custody battles, and accusations flying both directions. But many thought they'd reconciled, especially after Todd and Julie took custody of Kyle's daughter, Chloe. "We had come a long way, or so I thought," Todd said. "We've been through fire and back, and I opened my heart to him again. But maybe I was just blind because I wanted to believe he'd changed." A family divided once again. The Resurfaced video shows Kyle on a podcast, casually detailing how manipulative Todd could be during his childhood, and even suggesting that prison was always gonna be the outcome for someone who lived like that. The tone was flippant, almost mocking, and fans immediately took notice. Since then, social media has been ablaze with Chrisley family speculation. Some have come to Kyle's defense, suggesting he's speaking his truth after years of pain. Others slammed him for airing dirty laundry, especially now, when his father is locked away and unable to defend himself publicly. Todd's daughter Savannah, who has taken custody of both Grayson and Chloe during her parents' incarceration, was quick to defend her father. In an Instagram story, she wrote, "Family isn't just blood. Loyalty matters, and betrayal doesn't come from strangers." Todd's emotional reflection. Behind bars, Todd had plenty of time to reflect, and he didn't hold back in describing the heartbreak of the situation. "You know, you spend your life building something, a family, a legacy, thinking you're doing what's right by them. Even when you mess up, you try to clean it up. But when someone you love turns around and twists the knife that was already in your back," he asked, his voice heavy, "that's something no prison can prepare you for." He also addressed the idea that he's reaping what he sowed, something Kyle's comments seemed to imply. "I've never claimed to be perfect. I've made mistakes, big ones, but I've always tried to own up to them. What hurts is thinking that your child believes you deserve this, that your suffering is justified in their eyes. That's a special kind of heartbreak. This isn't the first time he's hurt me." Todd acknowledged that this moment wasn't the first betrayal. "We've been on this roller coaster for years," he said. "The drugs, the lies, the rehab stints. I stood by him when he wouldn't stand by himself. Julie and I both did. But even so, Todd admits he always hoped for healing. I prayed for restoration. I wanted a future where we'd sit down at Sunday dinner, laugh about the past, watch Chloe grow up. But maybe that was my fantasy, not his." Despite the pain, Todd didn't lash out with anger. Instead, his message carried a tone of reluctant acceptance. "I don't hate him. I can't. Hate would only hurt me more. But I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean foolishness. I can forgive him from a distance." The ripple effect on the Chrisley name. Todd's legal team has also weighed in, warning that public statements made by family members, especially those potentially incriminating or inflammatory, could be weaponized by prosecutors or tabloids alike. The Chrisley brand, already shaken by the family's legal troubles, may not survive further internal implosions. Savannah has reportedly cut off all communication with Kyle since the video went viral, and insiders say tensions between siblings are at an all-time high. Even Grayson, who typically remains quiet, reposted a cryptic message about snakes disguised as kin. Hope for the future. Though hurt and humiliated, Todd remains hopeful that time may still mend what's been broken, even if it takes years. "I'm still a father," he said. "And no matter how old your kids get, you never stop hoping for a different ending. I'll be here, one way or another, if he ever wants to rewrite that chapter." Until then, Todd is focusing on self-growth, faith, and holding his family together from a distance. You lose everything, and you find out what really matters. For me, it's love, it's forgiveness, and it's knowing who truly stands beside you when the world walks away. In a world where fame fades and fortunes fall, Todd Chrisley may be locked away, but his voice remains loud, proud, and determined to be heard.